Hello to all the people of Facebook. Oh, sorry. Welcome. Hi, I'm Kylie. I'm the Author Whisperer, and if you are here, say hi. Say hi to me and let me know you're here. And if you're watching this in a replay, which I know is when most people do, then for sure, just like it, say hi anyway. Pretend that I'm actually here. Pretend that this is happening live. Anyway, I thought I'd do another live stream outside, and I do apologize for my hand going over the screen. I'm trying to share this as you do. So I'm really happy to. Oh no, not an event. Now, of course, my keyboard doesn't want to work. If this is frozen up, I do apologize. Post it without a name. Let's go back to here. We are here. Now, do you love this tree behind me or what? I adore this tree. It is my favorite tree in the world, and it's what I look outside my office window. That is what it looks like at the top. Oh my God. Is that just beautiful? To me, that's just, I don't know, just heaven. In winter, it loses all of its leaves and completely changes the whole look and feel. And then it's exciting because in springtime, it looks like this. So I just wanted to come on down and I guess say hi, as I do. And I've always got, hello, and hi, Jerry. Nice to see you. And I'm always wanting to share something about, I guess, my journey around being an author. And cheers, I do have my green smoothie here. And just some of the things that, when I'm working with people or seeing what's happening with people, some of the things that I see happening now, inspires me to, I guess, talk for the day. So one of the things I'm looking at today is being brave enough to be true to yourself no matter what, and why this is even important. So it's got my neighbour walking past because I am out in the front yard. I would love to be in the backyard. It's like a back courtyard, but it's not as sunny. It's so beautiful out here. Okay, so what you truly believe is, I'm sure, the reason that you are writing your book. So that is the purpose of your book, to get out of your heart and your mind the thing that you're passionate about, the thing that you truly believe in. And so why I really encourage you to stay authentic to that, even when other people don't like it. So I had an example today of someone who was changing just a small part of her message, but it was based on feedback that she got from people. And I just think that is such a danger, because at the end of the day, you will never please everyone. You will always, I guess, what can we say? You'll always piss someone off. There'll always be someone who, even if maybe you don't piss them off, they'll take offense at something. I mean, I saw there was a discussion recently, and someone had used the term, what was it? Narcissist. That's right. They'd used the term narcissist in kind of like a joking or ironic, or like they were kind of making fun with it. And this other person got really upset because she said that's an actual disease, and you can't use that term. It was like got into this whole politically correct discussion, and I was like, oh my God. Censorship, inner censorship, which comes from your outer, experience of what you think other people are gonna think or what they actually tell you they've thought. Either way is going to kill your book. It's going to turn your book into something mediocre, middle of the road, and just eminently forgettable, and you know, at the end of the day, that is not what you want. I'm sure that's not what you want, and that's not what people want to read. Okay, this is the way I do it, and this is the way I encourage when I coach people and when I work with my clients. This is what I encourage them to do. And what I definitely stand in belief of, I would rather write something that was going to be passionately believed and loved by a small amount of people and maybe hated by a huge amount of people than just kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, you know, I read that and forget it, or I don't even bother reading it because it's like just so middle of the road by everyone. So I think that being brave enough to stand in that truth, and it is a matter of bravery, which is kind of weird because you wouldn't think that writing a book is being brave, but it's actually the publishing of the book that's the brave part. Being brave enough to do that, to say those things, and to allow people to, perhaps some people, to be triggered, like, God forbid, that's this you know, bloody everywhere word, this triggered, oh, you know, you can't say that because you might trigger this person or that group of people or whatever. And it basically is censorship. It goes even deeper than that. I mean, I could go off on a whole side tangent of the whole politically correct nightmare that is out there, and like, are we all so thin-skinned that we can't hear, you know, a single thing against us? I don't know. I think that it's actually just teaching us all to learn to censor ourselves so that we, you know, don't offend someone else by accident. Of course, it's different when you're trying to offend them on purpose. And sometimes that's okay too. Like, maybe that's your shtick. Maybe that's the way you do things, is to offend people on purpose. You know, that's, I guess, obviously then you're quite happy to be politically incorrect. But I'm talking about the other people, the people who are offending by mistake. So they're not actually saying something that is going to, they're not meaning to piss people off, but just inadvertently, like that narcissistic comment, right? She wasn't meaning to trigger someone, but someone got triggered. And then, of course, you know, that became a thing. Why that is bad for us as authors, because it will water down your message, and your book will no longer be your book. It will be, it will no longer be your message. It will no longer be true to what you have to say. It will end up being something that is like, I don't know, just a really watered down version of what you are about. And if that's what you want to put out into the world, well then, you know, I guess go for it. But I don't think it is what you want to put out in the world. I think it's what I think it's what people think the world wants. Not true. Couldn't be further from the truth. People really respond to you being able to speak your truth, and that message is going to mean so much more to the right people. To the wrong people, it wouldn't have meant anything anyway. And so trying to please them by watering it down or taking out certain language and so on is actually, you know, pleasing the wrong people and then not even serving the right people. So, like, I don't know what you think about this, but tell me if you agree, or if that's something that resonates with you, or if it's something that you've struggled with. I'd definitely be interested to know, like, if that's something that you think, yeah, I am guilty of turning on that inner censor when I, you know, when I write or when I'm editing, probably more to the point. You know, because I'd love to know if, you know, I'm sure I'm not the only one that struggles with it. I'm sure I'm not the only one whose message is as, what can I say, like, controversial. And let me tell you, my book that I am now, I just got back from the editor, yay, so it is like so close to being published. I'm just going through and now like incorporating a lot of her edits, of which there are millions. Oh my God, I am not a good speller, I can tell you. Actually, I have to tell you this story. So I sent it off to the editor and I said, you know, the way I write my language, it's not always grammatically correct, and that's how it's meant to be. It's purposefully grammatically incorrect. But, you know, there are other bits that are just boo-boos, and that's what I want her to fix up. Anyway, she sent back the very first word, which was the name of the first chapter, was misspelled. I was like, okay, well, you know, does that tell you what fun you're going to have with this book? I was like, I can't believe this was buried. The word was buried, and I'd spelt it with 2 R's, and it's only meant to have one. Anyway, why didn't my spell check pick that up? I don't know. Actually, maybe it's an Australian-American thing. I'll have to check that out. Anyway, as I was saying, so when you are in that editing phase, that is when that inner censor can come in, and so this book that I'm writing at the moment, I'm actually saying a lot of things that I know are going to really upset some people. And it's a book about this, green smoothies. This one is parsley and kale, which is kind of my standard. Pear, it's heaps of orange in this one. I think that's the main fruit, yeah. Now, you wouldn't think a book about green smoothies might trigger people, but I'm using it as an excuse, actually, to talk about what I'm really passionate about, which is the medical system and how people are so, they don't know how to trust and read their own body and be their own doctor, or be their own healer, because I think a doctor's probably not what you want to be. So because people don't know how to do that, they end up going to the doctor, and then they end up kind of, really losing their power, handing their power over to, to Big Pharma. And so that's what the book's actually about. And so, I think a lot of people will get upset by that, because I don't hold back. I actually have a whole chapter, I think it's called Doctor Bashing or something. And I do. I mean, that's what I believe. So, I know that's going to upset some people. And I don't apologize for that. In fact, I think I make a bit of a caveat, like, if you are going to be upset by this, then perhaps don't read any further. I think the sun has changed, and I'm now sitting in a dapple. Anyway, that was my message today. If you believe that, or you can relate to that, then please, let me know. Share the post. Let other people that you think, other authors that you think may grapple with this situation, or be, have dealt with it themselves. Let them know about it. And at the moment, I am, so as probably many of you know, I do one-on-one coaching. It's an amazing experience, the coaching. So it's where I actually learn so much about myself, of course, but really I'm there to support my clients and help them move to the next stage of wherever they're at in their book. Like, maybe for some people it is just coming up with an idea, or knowing whether this is the right idea. For some people it is right at the other end, like, how do I promote and market and launch a book so that it gets into the #1 bestseller categories in Amazon and so on. Or even just really basic stuff like, how do you enter keywords? So I work with people on all different levels, but a lot of it is mindset stuff, because I think being an author really does bring up a lot of stuff for us. Oh, hi, Patty. Yeah, you saying that you struggle with the wrong people can use the information against me, not because it's something bad, but because there are people who enjoy hurting others and use anything innocent to turn into something mean. So, okay, I'm assuming what you're saying there, Patty, is that you're kind of... and I do get that, but that sounds to me like within your kind of small circle, like maybe other family members or something like that. Because obviously if we're putting it out into the big wide world and it's, some random stranger, using that information against you, there wouldn't be a lot of power there. But, certainly when it's close family members, yeah, you do have to be brave. If what you're saying is going to get up people's nose, and it's people that are part of your circle, people that you are going to be interacting with, I guess, in real life, then you have to be doubly brave. But if your message is important enough, and I guess this is where it comes down to the difference. If your message is important enough that it has to get out there, then you have to be tough enough to weather that storm. You have to know whether this, it's more important that some people get to see this, hear this message and be changed and influenced and uplifted and inspired by it than the few people who are going to use it to, you know, throw stones at me. And you know what? Okay, so yeah, exactly. So you're not writing it for those people, and yeah, we do have to have a tough skin as an author. But you know what? When you do stand in your truth and stand for what you believe in, and you have and this is what's beautiful, Patty, I'm saying this specifically to you because this is what's beautiful. These people you're talking about, they probably have an idea that you already have these opinions or have these thoughts. Now you have a whole book to express yourself, not to justify, because I think justification just it makes your message really weak, but to fully express. Like, how often, if you're sitting around with a group of friends, how often do you have like 35,000 words to say to them without interruption? We don't, right? So a book, we have that opportunity to fully flesh out our argument and our belief and make it, I guess, convincing and persuasive, if that's what you want to do, or at the very least, you know, you get to have the last word. You get to have the only word. So from that perspective, if your message is important enough that you know there will be other people in the world who will hear that message and will go, I needed that I need to hear that has changed things for me, I'm going to take a different action because of this, then it's worth the slings and arrows of, you know, the people who that message was never for them in the first place. And that, believe it or not, even though you might feel you're giving them a whole lot of ammunition by being authentic and honest and standing in your truth, I think they will probably respect you for it, and it may change the dynamic. It's not going to necessarily change their mind, and that's not necessarily what it's about. But if it changes the dynamic, and they go, oh, well, okay, you know, she really does believe this, and that's who she is. You know, I don't know. I guess it's one of those things that I believe strongly enough in. And I know there's actually people in my family, and I've had these arguments with them because they are very much along the mainstream medical system. And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care. I know this is going to, in fact, I had them talk about my last book and saying, oh, you know, tut, you know, that you shouldn't tell people to, what was it, this go out in the sun. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, I've studied this for 20 years. I think I have a bit of an idea what I'm talking about. Plus, if you bothered to actually read the chapter, you'd understand where I'm coming from. But whatever, they didn't, I don't care. You know what? I don't fucking care. You know, I think it's important enough that the other people who hear it, and I see on my reviews on Amazon, I look at some of those negative reviews I get. I don't care about them either. And they say some stupid things, the same kind of stuff that some of my family members say. And I'm just like, so what? You know, there's enough people that will read that and will go, oh, wow, okay, so you don't have to slather yourself with sunscreen or whatever my sort of controversial message was. I don't even think that's controversial, but apparently it is. So be brave enough, okay? That is my message to you. If what you have to say is important enough, be brave enough to stand in your truth and say it, even if you're going to piss people off. In fact, aim to piss those people off, because they shouldn't who you're thinking about when you're writing. They're not important. It's not their book. It's not for them. It's for the other people who are going to hear it and go, yes, I needed to hear that. Thank you so much for saying what I was thinking or what I needed to hear. So go forth and share your story, because you know the world needs your story. And it's waiting for it. And if you feel that you would like some extra support from me in the form of one-on-one coaching, at the moment I am offering coaching package deals, and that's where you get 5 coaching sessions for the price of, no, I was going to say 7. Yes. Anyway, it's at a reduced price, and it is at a low price at the moment. All of my coaching prices are going up at the end of the year anyway. But if you are interested in that, just PM me, because I can give you all the details. But basically, in a coaching session, we might talk about this kind of stuff if that's what you want to talk about, or it could be a lot more practical. For a lot of people, it's the real nuts and bolts, like how do you actually just get your book up? How do you get a launch team together, etc. Okay, been great to connect with you, and I'm really excited to see the books that you produce. And go on over to the group, A Book That Sells, and drop your tell us if you've got books already published, drop your links in there. We're really happy to share those, and I guess maybe share some experience. That's really my only ask for you. I'm happy for people to promote their own books, but part of the thing that you do is, if you want to promote your book, just give something to the group as well. Like, this is the biggest lesson I learned from publishing my first book, or whatever. Because we all want to be able to learn from each other. Anyway, I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of this glorious day. As you can see, it is pretty gorgeous out here. And I'm going to give you one more look at my tree that I am completely in love with. Because, oh my God, look at that tree. Is that just beautiful or what? There's actually 2 of them. There it is. There's my beautiful tree. All right, so go and write your book. The world is waiting for your story. So right now. Okay, bye.